Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the suffering servant passage, and we are in Isaiah 42, and we're in verse 18 today, and we'll finish the chapter. We won't finish the chapter. We will go down to verse 22 today and finish the chapter next time. So, the Lord Yahweh has spoken to his servant, and he has gone forth in victory, and we've sung a new song, and his victory achieved, the rescue and the salvation of those who were lost, who were blind, needed to be led, who were willing to be led and to follow, and the destruction of those who want to follow idols. So he's already talked about the blind multiple times, actually, in the suffering servant passage already. And he's going to mention those who are deaf and blind in this section as well. So let's read verses 18 through 22. Hear, you deaf, look, you blind, that you may see. Who is blind but my servant, or so deaf as my messenger whom I send? Who is so blind as he that is at peace with me, or so blind as the servant of the Lord? You have seen many things, but you don't observe them. Your ears are open, but none hears. Yahweh was pleased for his righteousness' sake to make the law great and glorious, but this is a people plundered and despoiled. All of them are trapped in caves or are hidden away in prisons. They have become prey with none to deliver them, and to spoil with none to say, give them back. Okay, so sometimes, especially in the suffering servant passage, reading Isaiah is like reading a Russian novel, because characters will have multiple names and characters will share names, and it's hard to keep track of the names. So throughout, when we talk about, the servant is the Messiah. The Messiah is the servant. The Messiah is sometimes Israel. The Messiah is sometimes Jacob. But the nation is sometimes the servant and Israel and or Jacob. The Jewish people had a role to play, a role which they themselves abdicated. They were to be a light to the nations, and they weren't. And God has just talked about the blind, and he will lead them, and he has just talked about the way he's going to punish idolaters. Now, this is Isaiah was written before the reign of Manasseh, but not long before the reign of Manasseh. And during the reign of Manasseh, the children of Israel were more idolaters, the children of Judah, I should say. The people who lived in Judah, the southern kingdom. At this point, the northern kingdom has ceased to exist. The northern kingdom was founded on an idol. And many people still worship Yahweh, but the worship of the calf persisted throughout their history, and one of the reasons they were destroyed. But the people in the southern kingdom, at times, and particularly during the reign of Manasseh, they did everything. They did absolutely everything they could get their hands on to insult God and to violate the temple. And God has just said, those who promote the worship of idols are going to be destroyed. And in the next section that we'll talk about next time, there is the certitude of captivity because of idolatry mentioned. So this connects those two thoughts. And so when he says, who is as blind as my servant, he's not talking about the suffering servant. He's not talking about the Messiah. He makes it clear he's talking about the people. This people. This is a people plundered and despoiled because of their idolatry. And so when he said, who's as deaf as you? Who's as blind as you? I made the law great. I gave you a written law. I gave it to you in tablets of stone that I wrote with my own hands. I gave you a law. You have light that no one else has, and it's a light you were supposed to have walked by and you were supposed to have enjoyed. And you didn't. You didn't value it at all. You didn't keep it, and you've pursued idols. And so who is as blind or as deaf as God's own people? Because they're the ones who had all the advantages and therefore who bear the greater responsibility for their sin. He calls them trapped in caves or hidden away in prisons. Caves probably should be better translated pits, trapped in pits. Pits were frequently used in as prisons. People would dig pits and put prisoners down in them because there weren't a lot of jails around. And so people would dig a pit and put a person in it, maybe cover it or set a watch on it. So they're all trapped. They become prey with none to deliver them, and a spoil with none to say give them back. He's telling them, you're going to be despoiled and plundered, and I'm not coming to save you. That's what he's going to talk about next time as we finish the chapter. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.